Humm, baby.
Enjoy this great game.
Before I even get into it, just want to make sure that anybody thinks I'm just complaining because I'm a Giants fan and the Dodgers are so good. Let me just make sure to let y'all know the Giants relatively recently won 3 World Series. I don't have anything to complain about as far as the Giants. The Giants are in a position where they can actually, if they're terrible, they can finish in last place or something, draft some really good players, and when those players are ready, go out, sign in the free agent market, get whoever they can. They're in a position where they can actually build a competitive team. So I'm not so much complaining about the Giants, even though, yeah, it's frustrating that the Dodgers are so good right now, the Padres are so good right now. Obviously, it's not something I'm happy about, but that being said, this problem or this potential problem that I'm going to talk about, it affects other teams much more than the Giants. And you can see right here, Giants 11th as far as 26-man payroll, $139 million. Yes, it's not very much compared to the Dodgers. Dodgers 2021 payroll is going to be $234 million, which is just insane when you compare it to some of these lower teams. And that's what I want to talk about. And there's an article that just came out and it was really interesting. Now, again, Dodgers are playing by the rules. Dodgers are doing everything they're supposed to do. And you got to appreciate it and you got to respect it. They are unbelievably good. They finally got that World Series championship. They completely earned it. They're champions. But remember, their collective bargaining agreement, it is about to expire. And a lot of players and a lot of teams are very unhappy about the way this thing works. So there could be a strike. There could be a work stoppage here. Things like that could be happening soon. So this is stuff to just keep in the back of our minds here. Understand what's going on, and I'm curious of your thoughts, and I'll give you mine. But let's check out this article that I'm talking about here. Disparity in MLB salaries, laughable, bad for sports future. This is by Jason Mackey. This came out earlier today, and he's talking about Trevor Bauer. He's going to earn $40 million this season, which is more than the 26-man salaries, and I mentioned this earlier, of the Indians, Pirates, and Orioles, and it's not much less than the Marlins, Rays, Mariners, A's. I mean, this is insane. If some of these teams wanted to sign Bauer, they were going to have to double their entire payroll, whereas the Dodgers were able to sign him despite giving out massive contracts all over the place. And, again, they're playing by the rules, and they're putting together a team that's practically unbeatable. And the only reason they might be beatable is because it is baseball. You can't just throw out, some super team and just run over everybody and go win a championship, kind of like in the NBA. You can't really do that in baseball, but still, they're going to be the heavy favorites again. So let's check this out here. As MLB finds itself no higher than 3rd among most popular North American team sports, bypassed by the NFL and NBA, plus NHL in plenty of cities, it's a major buzzkill when it comes to fans of teams like the Pirates, situated in smaller markets with owners that either can't or won't spend on that sort of level. Bauer's contract is great for him, like I was saying, but it's depressing for other clubs. Now, the Dodgers, same team that signed Mookie Betts to a 12-year, $365 million extension. The one whose opening day salary during the 7-year stretch from 2013 to 2019 was actually more than double what the Pirates spent. More than double. Like I said, not illegal. They're playing by the rules, and that's fine. It is frustrating for a lot of teams, for a lot of fans, but I am worried about the future of the game in a lot of big markets around this country that have teams that are classic teams. The Pirates are a freaking legendary team, and they just, right now, I don't even talk about the Pirates. I don't think I've met one Pirates fan in the entire time I've had this channel. I have over 5,000 subscribers, been making a ton of videos. I've talked about the Pirates, but not enough. Going to do a preview on the Pirates soon. Don't know what I'm going to say. But I mean, that's where it's like they're not even a big league team. And it's kind of messed up. Because look at their biggest signing. Their biggest signing was a relief pitcher, Chasen Shreve, signed to an incentive-laden deal that could pay him as much as $1.5 million. $1.5 million for their biggest free agent of the offseason, and we're approaching spring training. Meanwhile, Bauer's going to earn more than $1 million per start. Now, Pirates fans, yeah, they blame their owners. All these lower-tier fans can complain about their ownership and, the fact that they're not trying their best to stay competitive, which they should have to do. You should have to try to stay competitive and spend money to be competitive. You got to build through the draft via international signings because they're cheaper, coming out on the other side with a bunch of talented young players, and then hopefully hit the free agent market as best as you can and try to build a winner. But the problem is you're still competing against these teams that just spend all, whatever they can. They don't have to draft. I mean, they still draft. Let's not get it twisted. The Dodgers still draft, and they draft great, obviously. When they sign free agents, you know that player is good. You know their worth. You know their MLB talent. You don't have to guess. You don't have to just get a young talent and hope that they develop into a big league talent. You already know they are. So it's a huge advantage to have money to tap into the free agent market and get whoever you want, especially because free agents want big money. They don't want little money. The Pirates could call Bauer and say, look, you could really help us out. We can give you, $6 million a year. He would laugh. They would laugh. His agent and it would be like, okay, yeah, we'll let you know. Baseball's lack of salary cap might work for the upper crust, but it doesn't do enough for all involved or the sport as a whole. It says, shouldn't baseball be worried about perpetuating itself and making it possible for that 7-year-old to identify and cheer for his or her favorite player instead of being force-fed the inequities of baseball's business side? If your team stinks and your owner won't spend, fans are forced to endure what we're seeing out of the Pirates. Controlled cost and promises of better days ahead once prospects develop, but with the ominous understanding that bloated salaries could restart the cycle. And, that's exactly what happens. And then they trade players away, usually for mid-tier prospects like that Rockies deal. It's sad that you got to trade Nolan Arenado and you get, okay guys, no, all due respect, Austin Gomber, all due respect, but I researched that trade. I thought about it and I was like, I don't get it. The only hope is the hope that baseball stops. Well, that's not a hope, right? That's when the current collective bargaining agreement expires in December. A protracted labor fight ensues, perhaps even a strike. Maybe then both sides will realize the short-term gain is not what's best for the future of the sport, especially when capped leagues have zoomed past baseball in terms of national interest. I mean, they do have the tax, the luxury tax. The problem is some teams, like, luxury tax ain't nothing. Dodgers will just fly past that. They don't care about no luxury tax. Other teams like, let's not go past the luxury tax. And that's fine because they're not supposed to go past the luxury tax. I mean, you can't fault them for not going past the luxury tax when the luxury tax is there so that if you go past it, you're supposed to pay a tax because you're not keeping it competitive. You're breaking you're not breaking the rules, but you're breaking the spirit of keeping it balanced competitively, so you got to pay this tax. Well, yeah, screw that. Wait, we're allowed to spend more than this, but we just got to pay a tax? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So it really does nothing, and I'm not saying there should be a cap per se. I'm just asking that question. Now, the problem is if you try to put one, there's going to be a huge strike. I mean, isn't that what happened in '94, if I'm not mistaken? I mean, it was something of that nature, luxury or a salary cap type deal. And I was just 14 at the time. I wasn't like completely knowledgeable on the finances and all the exact what was going on. I was just pissed off, like most of us were, that there was no baseball. But still, I don't want to see that again, and I don't think the players are going to go for that. But again, the players want change too. I believe the players and MLBPA, they want change too. Their idea of change might be not a salary cap, but a salary floor, a minimum. You have to put a competitive team out there. You got to spend a minimum. You can't just, be cheap and be like the Pirates and sign, and your best free agent is a $1 million. No, you got to spend at least so much. You got to spend at least so much on your players, on your 26-man roster. So that could be something the players ask for and say, hey, dude, these teams got to be more competitive. And then the owners, they're going to say, no, there needs to be a salary cap. You want us to be more competitive. Stop having teams like the Dodgers who can buy whoever they want. So that's going to be an interesting debate here when they get to that. And I hope that there's not some strike or work stoppage, but I think there might be. I'm thinking there might be. So I don't want to, worry. Right now we're excited about the upcoming season, but that is something in the back of my mind, and also in the back of my mind is just the overall. What do you guys think of the overall structure right now, the way it works? Is it fair? Is it not fair? Does it need to change? Is it okay the way it is? Is it okay with teams like the Dodgers can spend big because if teams are smart like the Rays, they could still compete with them? The Rays were in the World Series last year, which is insane. I mean, and, but it's also like, what happens when these teams figure things out? What happens when the Dodgers and the Yankees get owners and get GMs who are just as smart as the Rays owners and GMs? What happens then? How do you touch them? How can you compete with them? So let me know. Again, not complaining as a Giants fan. I'm totally happy with the Giants and their situation. 3-time World Series champions recently. It's all good for the Giants, but definitely this could be a problem if it causes any kind of work stoppage. This could be a problem for teams like the Pirates and the Orioles and teams like the Marlins. Even though the Marlins made the playoffs, these are teams that really struggle keeping a decent payroll and competing. So let me know what you guys think down below. Love to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, share this video, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.